What if I told you there's a real human body that's been lying in a glass coffin for nearly 150 years, and it looks like the person just died yesterday? No embalming, no preservation chemicals, just untouched by time. Even scientists can't explain it. This isn't science fiction. It's the true story of Saint Bernadette Soubirous. And if you're drawn to real-life miracles, or anything the modern world still can't fully explain, go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe, because this one will leave you thinking long after it ends. The year was 1858. In the tiny town of Lourdes, France, 14-year-old Bernadette was just trying to survive. Her family lived in a former jail cell crammed into one damp, freezing room. She couldn't read or write. She was sick, frail, asthmatic. By every measure, she was invisible to the world. But one February morning changed everything. While collecting firewood near a rocky grotto, Bernadette saw something no one else did. A beautiful woman bathed in radiant light, dressed in white and blue. The vision didn't speak at first, just stood there, calm and glowing. It could have been dismissed as imagination, a trick of light. But it happened again and again. Over the next few months, the woman appeared to Bernadette 18 times. Word spread fast, crowds gathered. Some came to believe, others came to mock. Local authorities, furious and suspicious, interrogated Bernadette again and again. They accused her of lying, threatened her with jail, but through it all, she never wavered. She stuck to her story, no matter the cost. Then something even stranger happened. During one of the visions, the woman told Bernadette to dig in the dirt near the grotto. In front of a skeptical crowd, Bernadette got on her knees and started digging. People laughed until water began bubbling up from the ground, a spring that hadn't existed before. Fresh, clear, flowing. That spring would soon become world famous, but it was only the beginning. At first, people shrugged it off. A spring in the dirt wasn't exactly a miracle, but within days, everything changed. Locals began claiming that after touching or drinking the water, they were healed. The blind said they could see. The paralyzed walked again. People with illnesses that doctors had given up on were suddenly recovering. Crowds poured into Lourdes, not just peasants or pilgrims, doctors, skeptics, scientists. And Bernadette? She never asked for fame, money, or recognition. She simply kept returning to the grotto, quietly repeating what she saw, never once changing her story. Then came a turning point that stunned even the harshest critics. The mysterious woman finally revealed her identity. She said, "I am the Immaculate Conception." Bernadette had no idea what that meant. She was illiterate, uneducated, and completely unaware that this was a newly declared Catholic doctrine, one only formally recognized 4 years earlier. When the priest heard her repeat those words, his reaction was immediate. Shock, fear, awe. There was no way this girl could have known that phrase, not unless what she claimed to see was real. But the strange and wondrous events didn't end with the spring or the visions. People began to seek Bernadette's prayers. They brought her tokens, requests, and dying loved ones. She didn't perform ceremonies or make promises. She simply responded with humility. And still, the miracles continued. A baby with tuberculosis was wrapped in a small cloth she had embroidered. The child recovered. A young girl who hadn't walked in years was gently placed at Bernadette's feet and began running moments later. Then came the fire. During one vision, a candle tipped and flames engulfed Bernadette's hand. Hundreds witnessed it. For over 15 minutes, her skin burned under open flame. But when it was over, her hand showed nothing. No blister, no redness, no pain. Despite this growing attention, Bernadette didn't capitalize on it. She didn't tour churches or speak in public. Instead, she entered a convent. She lived simply, quietly, and in chronic pain, eventually succumbing to tuberculosis at just 35 years old. By all accounts, her story should have ended there, but it didn't. In 1909, 30 years after Bernadette's death, church officials ordered her body to be exhumed. It was part of the process of declaring her a saint. No one expected anything unusual. After all, 3 decades underground tends to reduce the human body to bones and dust. But what they found stopped them cold. Her body was perfectly intact. Her skin was still soft. Her hands were delicate and lifelike. Her muscles had not stiffened. There was no foul odor, no sign of rot. Her fingernails were clean and preserved. The doctors in attendance, Dr. David and Dr. Jordan, were not believers looking for signs. They were professionals, and they documented what they saw in shock. The church wasn't ready to make a declaration just yet. So 10 years later, in 1919, they exhumed her again. Same result. 2 more doctors, Dr. Talon and Dr. Compton, took over the examination. Again, no decomposition. Her organs were still intact. Her limbs remained flexible. Dr. Compton wrote in his report that what he had seen was not natural. Still skeptical, the church scheduled a 3rd and final exhumation in 1925. That's 46 years after her death. Dr. Kant conducted the final examination. He found the same thing. No explanation for her condition. The only change was a slight darkening of the face and hands due to air exposure. To protect those areas, the church applied a light layer of wax, nothing more. Since then, Saint Bernadette's body has been displayed in a glass casket in Nevers, France. For almost a century, millions have visited. Many don't just observe, they feel something. A strange, quiet peace in the room, a stillness, like being in the presence of something holy. Doctors and scientists have tried to explain it. Temperature, soil acidity, oxygen levels, but none of it adds up. There was no preservation method, no chemicals, and yet her body remains untouched. Even in the face of scrutiny, the mystery stands. Not buried, not broken, just there, peaceful and whole. And as incredible as that is, it's not even the most astonishing part of the story. That spring Bernadette uncovered in 1858. It's still flowing, and people are still claiming miracles. Not rumors, not vague feelings, real documented recoveries. The Catholic Church has officially recognized 70 cases where healing at Lourdes could not be explained by science. Each case undergoes years of medical scrutiny. Doctors test everything, before and after. Most of these doctors have no religious bias. They look for answers. And when they can't find one, when the healing defies every diagnosis, they call it a miracle. But the official list is just the surface. The real number of testimonies, thousands. Cancer patients who walked out completely cleared. People in wheelchairs who stood. Blind eyes that opened. And not just physical healing, emotional wounds, spiritual breakthroughs. People who had given up, suddenly given new life. Every year, more than 6 million people travel to Lourdes. They come in pain. They come with desperation. But many leave with something they can't describe. A sense of peace, a release, a transformation. It's not just the water, it's what surrounds it, what they feel in its presence. And now, Pope Leo XIV has reignited the conversation with a public declaration. He acknowledged Bernadette's incorrupt body as one of the clearest signs that we're still living in a world where the miraculous is possible. In an age obsessed with proof and logic, the Church is saying, we don't have the answers, but we know this is real. But maybe the most beautiful part of Bernadette's story is who she was. Not royalty, not a scholar, a poor, sick, illiterate girl from a forgotten town. And yet, through her, the divine moved. Her life wasn't loud. It was faithful, quiet, steady, and that's exactly what made it powerful. So if you've ever felt like you're too small to matter, like you've been overlooked or dismissed, remember Bernadette. And if this story gave you hope, stirred something inside, or reminded you that the impossible still happens, smash that like button and share it with someone who needs it. Drop a comment and tell us what you believe about miracles. And don't forget to subscribe, because stories like this, they're not over. Not yet.